Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help. And King of Floors, your vinyl, laminate, and engineered flooring superstore.
Just ahead of Elliotte Friedman, it is Monday, and all of our guests today are sponsored by Passat Motors. It's May Days at Passat. Choose from one of 3 great options this month, including $1,000 Visa gift cards. Check them out online at PassatMotors.com. A lot of people commenting in our inbox about that your heavy breathing has returned.
There's no breathing issues. My goodness.
Is it because you're upset?
About Triamkin.
Yeah.
I'm ticked off about Triamkin, so I'm breathing heavy. Is that what they're saying?
Yes, I think so. there are quite a few of them, actually. Just be aware of that. Okay. We're joined now by Elliotte Friedman from Hockey Night in Canada and Sportsnet. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Let me just say, Rick, my son gets upset when I do heavy breathing too. I just did a Peloton and I'm gasping for air, and he's like, "Daddy, stop breathing." So, you're not the only one who suffers from this problem.
Thank you, Mr. Friedman.
Yeah, but you're riding a stationary bike. He's just sitting here, Elliotte. Hey, how is that, by the way? Is the Peloton? Are you a fan of it? Does it work?
Yeah, I got it almost exactly a year ago, and I've lost 5 inches off my waist, so I could really use that. So I really like it. I'm a fan.
Okay, sign me up. Okay, I understand, Elliotte, that as part of your 31 Thoughts podcast, 31 Thoughts column, you've tackled the subject or talked to Rod Brind'Amour. What can you tell us?
I have not spoken to him directly.
Okay.
But, yeah, what I can tell you about it is I believe there is now a verbal agreement between Brind'Amour and the Hurricanes for him to stay on as coach. I think that's what he wants. I think the team knows that he wants it. He prefers to stay and not to move. However, Don, what he has told them is that before he agrees officially to sign anything, he wants his staff taken care of. And that's not just his assistant coaches, but it's the goaltending coach, it's the trainers, and it's the equipment staff. And I believe that is the hang up in terms of what hasn't been done yet. And assuming that gets done, then I think everything will be done. But at this point in time, that's the last sort of hurdle between an official deal between Brind'Amour and the Hurricanes.
For a long time, even after they won the Stanley Cup, a lot of people, I don't want to say ridiculed, but I will say it, ridiculed that franchise, lack of fans, lack of interest, all of that.
Yeah.
And yet, Elliotte, anytime you talk to a player who's played there, a coach who's coached there like Rod, they're big fans of the area, living there and playing there. What is it about that area that people like?
It is a fantastic place to live. A lot of the players, especially the ones with families, say it's a great place to have your kids grow up. The weather is pretty mild. Like, you don't get a lot of freezing weather, and compared to a lot of other places in the States, it's very comfortable weather. And, if you're a golfer, there's a lot of great places to golf around there. I've just heard it's a tremendous place to bring up a family. It's a college town too, which I think that really helps, with some of the families there. And the other thing too is I think, and there's some, like Brind'Amour, I think he's got a kid who's a pretty good player, and there's some other players who've got kids that are pretty good players. It's a good place to kind of, if you have a boy or a girl who wants to go into hockey, it's a good place to learn where it's not like super competitive in the sense that, it's a crazy hockey place. There's good programs, which the team has helped develop, but it doesn't come with a lot of the craziness that, say, is in Toronto or in Vancouver when you're growing up and playing hockey. And I think that all appeals to a lot of people. It's got one great steakhouse too. Sullivan Steakhouse. When I was there for a lot of playoff runs, I burned off a lot of my per diems there, Don. So it is a good place to live. And I'll tell you, they're a good team. Like they're a really good team, and they make a lot of smart decisions. I would be very careful about fooling around with Brind'Amour. That's all.
So go to Sullivan's, then hit the Peloton. Have I got that right?
Go to Sullivan's, hit the Peloton, and then find a good 18 to play.
Yes.
Although those courses are pretty tough. Pretty tough.
Sign me up. I bring up Rod Brind'Amour too, Ellie, because so many people, including myself, just feel he's from Campbell River, would be such a great fit here. Now, switching gears here. As a veteran reporter, Elliot, what's the proper way to handle a story like Jake Virtanen's? Allegations have been made. Nothing's been proven. What's the best way to handle that story?
Well, for me, and I will tell you on the weekend, one of the things I did was, I did reach out to our legal department and say, how do you, through our senior producers, I said, just give me some guidance here. How do you want me to handle it? Mm-hmm. And what they said was just stick to the statement, which is what we know. And that's basically what I did. I think the danger here is that you opine in some way and that you just get something wrong, and it's not fair to the woman or to Virtanen. And I think that the smartest thing in these situations is to just go with what you know and don't say anything that just turns out to be wrong. So that's kind of the way I look at it.
Elliotte, I just want to shift gears back to Brind'Amour, obviously Campbell River native. He's looking for a new contract. I got to ask you about Travis Green. What do you know about the latest offer that the Canucks made to him?
It's tough, Rick, to kind of to figure out what exactly is being referred to here. The best I can tell is I don't think there was necessarily anything last week, but there might have been something a little bit ago. And I'm giving you kind of a wide time frame there because I can't pin down exactly what it was. I think the really difficult thing about this entire Travis Green situation right now is there is so much going on around the Canucks, from the COVID breakout to what broke last weekend to just trying to finish out the season. I think there's a ton going on. And secondly, depending on who you talk to, there's a real question as to how much actual negotiating has been done between Green and the team. Like I've had people telling me there's been some offers thrown but no real negotiation. So I think as it stands right now, they're pretty far apart. And I just don't know if there's ever really been a lot of conversation, deep, intense conversation, the kind of negotiations that need to be done to get close to a deal, at least not recently. I don't get that sense. So I think there was something in the last little while, but I don't think it was anywhere. I don't think we ever got to a point, Rick, where there was reason to believe that anything was imminent.
Okay. Elliotte, my co-host is having a tough time with Nikita Triamkin leaving and going to Russia. He's been in tears all day long. Yeah. What do you know about Triamkin, Elliotte? What happened there?
I just don't think it ever got close. That's another thing. I don't think that, I think Triamkin knew what his value was in Russia. And I just don't really think we got to a point where the Canucks were, I don't know if I would use the word willing or in a position because, I haven't spoken to Jim Benning about it directly, but I just never got the impression at all over the last few days that it ever got close between the Canucks and Triamkin. And I think we're all curious as to what that blue line is going to look like next year.
Absolutely. Elliotte, just before we let you go.
By the way, Rick, I got to tell you, I was howling at all the people trashing you for bringing up Triamkin all the time.
I'm getting ripped big time because, you know what? Hey, look, I can deal with it. I'm a big boy, Elliotte. You
can't.
Hey, Friedman gets ripped all the time. We all get ripped. It's a part and parcel of the job.
Yes.
Okay, very quickly.
Rick, they don't ignore you.
Yes.
If they don't like you.
That's
it.
Go.
Thank you. Very quickly, Elliotte, do you know how hot, and this is totally premature, but you know what Canuck Twitter is like, how hot of a coaching commodity Alex Burrows might be?
I think he will be there eventually. I think he will be a head coach in this league. And one of the reasons that I believe that is because I think he wants to be, and I think he's planned a route for himself to be. I think it got accelerated a little bit this year for him, Don. I don't know if he was expecting to be where he is this quickly, but I think he's a guy who's got a path in mind, and I think he will be a head coach in the NHL. Maybe not in the immediate future, but not too long away.
Awesome. Elliotte, we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Thanks so much for this.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
Elliotte Friedman, good to see that his phone's working.